Hello and welcome to the Racers HQ podcast. We got a big show tonight, everybody. We got Nathan Adler. Hey, Nate.
Howdy, howdy.
Pat Mullery. Pat.
Good evening.
And returning guest, Hunter Biederman. What you up to, Hunter?
Hello all. How are you?
There we go. So yeah, we got some topics. We got some garage updates, some deep thoughts. We got a brand new schedule that just hit, but we're also excited to talk to Hunter about his first ever F1 race experience and what he's been up to. So let's just get into it, guys. Nathan, I understand that you have a minor garage update. What you got, Nate?
Yeah, so not so much the car, but I picked up a car accessory recently. I first saw these maybe like a year or two ago.
Can we guess what it is first?
You can. Would you like
Let
me to
him,
give a
let
clue
him build
first?
up to it, man. Let him
No,
build
I
it
want to
up.
go cold. I think I know what it is.
Have at it. Go for it.
I think it's a transmission to transmission catalog that like a poster that mounts on the wall, so you can say, oh, I've got this ZF transmission, and I've got this clutch plate, and it'll work with this engine. Is that it?
Ooh, it's not that, but I like that. That could be a good piece of art. Can we get some Racers HQ engine to trans Frankenstein OEM combo poster? I like this. No, I picked up a set of the ratcheting wheel dollies for the race cars.
Ooh.
So you know what I'm talking about? The C-shaped ones that you slide in under the tire, and then they ratchet and make the C smaller to get the car up off the ground. So the way I have my race car parked in my garage, I have to put it up on jacks and then on dollies and slide it in, and that just seemed like a way easier way to do it. So Harbor Freight had their nice versions on sale for the first time that I've seen, and so I went ahead and picked up a set, and they are every bit as cool as I had hoped. So yeah, that was my cool thing. I think they were like $450 shipped, which is kind of a lot, but just for the ease of being able to push the car in and out and get it in right up against the wall and not be, fighting with it is really nice.
Nice.
So, yeah, I saw those a few years ago. The Australian supercars guys use those. So like in F1, when they retired the car, they put the whole thing up on the skateboard. But in supercars, they just throw these things under the rear two wheels and roll it in the garage that way. And I just thought those were the coolest things. So I've been waiting for them to go on sale.
Nice.
Sweet.
That's smart. Very cool. You got anything else, Nate?
No. Still haven't touched the car itself, but I'm hoping, get some inspiration. Taking it one step at a time.
I like it, buddy. You can work on my car if you need inspiration.
I need to do something, man. It's bad. I've been playing more golf than anything.
Okay, I'll pretend like I didn't.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
That's what some people's opinions are. No, I'm sure golf's perfectly fine. All right, I got a few quick hot topics. I did iRacing with the AI thing turned on, so I could just get a race in, and you could immediately hop into a race. And I did like GT3 with like a BMW, and it gave me the mixed class and everybody. And I went and did Barber, and it was a blast. It was just like iRacing. Like I got turned the first lap. I was leading out the pack, and I get turned, and I get sent to the back, and then made up 15 places from the back. I felt great. So
what's the AI thing? The cars are now AI run?
So you basically turn it into an arcade game. I mean, you can just load up all the cars you want, so you don't have to, deal with other populated races or, waiting for the race to start with like real humans. You just load up 20 cars, and they all vary in different like skill sets and specialties.
Yeah, you can adjust it. It's pretty in depth, the amount of adjustment you can put into it. Like each you can set the opponent's like skill from like, I think it goes from like 30% up to like 140, which seems like a really dumb scale, but what do I know? And then so they've had it out for like 2 years now, maybe. But I know when it first came out, you didn't mess with it at all. So this is the first time you've played with it. Yeah,
and they made it a lot better now. So like on the home screen, it's got like a template to where you can actually just launch like a GT3 season in like 3 clicks now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
And you can build out other templates and stuff too. Yeah. Right. But
I did a few things with goofy stuff like Legends cars versus, FR 500 Mustangs versus GT3s. And you can do goofy stuff like that. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But like you do a qualifying session with the cars to like find what percent, how fast you want them to be. And it's really good. Like like you were saying, there's no quarter given. They are brutally, I mean, they are mean.
They hold the line.
Yeah.
They know one thing, and it is the line, and they're going to be on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was fun.
Do they
like
talk to you and tell you suck?
No, you can fill that in on your own.
Yeah. They kind of do it with their bumpers.
Crew chief app will take care of that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Is there like a slider for RG Bargy?
There is, yeah.
There might be, yeah. I think
There genuinely is.
Yeah.
I think it's labeled aggression, not argy bargy, but hey, same.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, once you started talking Australian supercars, that was there.
Oh, it's the best.
All right.
Does anybody else watch those? Anybody ever watch the broadcast? It's my second favorite broadcast. F1 has the best broadcast. Supercar second, and then like everything after that.
Did you guys catch that after we talked about it in the last pod? Did you catch that Stance Work series when he was?
Oh yeah, I watched the whole thing.
In the World Time Attack stuff. That's pretty.
Yeah, that's cool. It was Limonsy, just like you said,
wasn't it? I was so surprised. Yeah. Anytime he's like, "Yeah, I spent every last dime I had to get here, and maybe I get back home with the car intact, or maybe not." You're like, "Oh man, that's just."
Oh, and I think I texted you this, but like the shot, they get the shot on his face when he like swipes the card for a $17,000 transmission.
Yeah,
and he's just like, and he's all positive about it, but then the face the total give. He just goes,
I don't know how I'm going to explain this one to the wife.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty rad. All right. I inked a deal with a racing team to go race in Houston, and I kind of feel bad because I feel like I should be focusing on my car or the E36, but I'm gonna go drive this 929 Mazda in Class C at Houston.
Oh, you're driving Chris's car.
Chris?
Yeah. It was a cheap seat, and I haven't been able to race this year really at all. So I think it'll be a fun experience with a new team just to kind of see how things go. So,
but he got second and fourth gears fixed, so now you have all four.
Oh, nice. All right, cool. That's important. And then final hot take. I heard about this term spatial temporal continuity, and it made me think about race cars. So I was listening to a Malcolm Gladwell podcast about how like golf courses in LA don't ever change hands because it's just done one member at a time. And so it's also like the same argument as how like if you replace a board on a boat, one board at a time, it's still the same boat. But it's the same way with race cars. Like I think my differential is the only piece left on my Miata, and it's still my Miata.
Ship of Theseus. We're going at full philosophy.
Yeah, Ship of Theseus.
That's George Washington's axe. Is the
yes, George Washington's hatchet.
Okay. See.
Oh yeah, it is Washington's hatchet. Washington's hatchet, Lincoln's axe. It's all the same thing.
Yeah. But I get asked that all the time. What kind of car do you have? I've got a '90 Miata. Oh yeah, wow, it's so old. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know that there's a piece on it that started out on the car anyway. I mean,
yeah, the floor pan.
The frame is a '90 Miata.
Yeah, everything else, not so much.
Exactly.
Well, especially like you get into cars. Like my car's changed hands 3 or 4 times and has been raced more or less continuously since 2002. I can't imagine there's anything left but the floor pan at that point and the roll cage.
Yeah,
and like a Swiss cheese floor pan. Yeah.
My next
that was the last car. This one has a good pan.
Mm-hmm.
The previous car was the one that had the holy, divinely blessed pan.
Fair enough. What you got, Maury? Sorry, we keep stepping.
I was going to say my next favorite question is, how fast does it go?
Oh, that's the worst. There's no worse question in the world than how fast do you go?
Yeah, optimistically, 89, 92. If I'm lucky, do I have a draft?
Yeah. Right.
Have I overclocked the ECU?
Always followed by, well, I went 120 once on the tollway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty much the same thing. It's
same thing.
Right.
How long did it take you to get there?
And then that's when you say, okay, now don't brake for the exit next time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Or have an exit that you have to go from 145 to 30 in about 100 feet.
Yeah. People don't get it. I hate when people are like, oh, I'm a good driver. I drive fast all the time. Cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing for you. It's not the same.
Not the same, bro. Yeah.
Broheim.
Broheim. Fun stuff. All right, Hunter, I think you're up next, buddy. Hunter went
baby.
to the US Grand Prix this weekend,
I
and he's
did.
been
I
doing
made
some
a I made
other
a
race car stuff. So what up, Hunter? What you been up to?
I made a last minute decision to go to the Formula One race.
Nice.
I kind of thought to myself, I can't believe I've never been to a Formula One race. We watch it, it's the sport probably I enjoy the most. So I flew in Sunday morning from Dallas to Austin, took an Uber to I guess it's like a high school, and then they bus you in from there.
Nice.
Saw the race, bailed right at the end, took an Uber back to the airport, and I was out of there same day. So my whole stretch was about a 20-hour day in and out, but it was a lot of fun. There were things I was worried about, like you can't really follow the race when you're there.
Hmm.
And I was impressed though that you could. They had a free race radio at the entrance. If you had an Amex, they would give you a free race
Oh,
radio,
nice.
and that was the difference maker right there. That allowed you to know everything that was going on, because the pre-races, they still had the sound pumping over the speakers, and there was a
Hmm.
TV. I was in turn 15, which Nathan, good call on that,
Dang.
because that
That's
gets you to
awesome.
see a large part of the track right there, and the passing, obviously, which is the important piece. But the pre-races, it's quiet enough where you can hear the announcements of what's going on. But the Formula One race, then it gets crazy loud, obviously. But with the headsets though, you can follow everything. It was fantastic.
What's on the headset? Is it radio broadcast or the ESPN broadcast, or what is it?
I think it's the ESPN broadcast. I mean,
Okay.
that's what it sounded like to me.
Very cool. Yeah, we didn't have that. So I went twice and sat turn 15. Once we sat like way down at the bottom, and the catch fence kind of gets in your way. And
Yeah.
the second time we went, we sat up higher. I think you have to get above like row like 6 or 8 or something like that. Above that, that's where the good seats are. And you can like you said, you can genuinely see everything from the end of the straight, and then that whole like complex through like whatever it is, 12 through almost 18, I think. They disappear around the corner. It's awesome. Like if you're going to Coda to watch F1, you can only do it once. Sit at the very tip top of section 15. You won't regret it for a second. I don't care what it costs. It's expensive. Deal with it.
My ticket was, I got a single seat. It was 600 with the fees and everything else for Sunday only. Sunday only.
Yeah.
So Nate, you can see
But-
turn 12 from there too, like entry to 12.
Is 12 the end of the straight or the beginning?
Okay, so there's nothing blocking those T15 grandstands to see 12 and 13.
No, so from 15 you see over that section front. You can see all the way to the end of the straight. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. For
Nice.
sure. The only other spot that's really
it's
great.
right where you drop off. That's right by the entrance.
Yes, that's the other nice thing
too. So I
Yeah.
honestly didn't really walk around the track. I've been there before, but I didn't walk
Mhm.
around
Yeah.
looking for different spots to watch this and that. I walked in. All the fan stuff is over there. So
Yeah,
if
the
you want to buy
food and the
your
merch is all
Williams
right
shirt
there.
and stuff. Yeah. And
Hmm.
then I walked right to the stand. I would just hang out in the food or the beer tent to cool off in between the
Mhm.
sessions. But it was nice, and it's doable for a one day in and out.
The other
Nice.
thing you
Did you,
can do, and our buddy Carl Hurdle and his now fiance, I think, Jennifer, what they did is they did general admission and sat at the top of turn 1. It's GA, so the tickets are cheap, but the downside is you have to get there at like 6 in the morning to get a half decent seat. But you can see a ton. You can see the whole front straight. You can see all the way to like turn 6. You can see turn 11 like leading onto the straight, and you can see like a little, or them like coming out of 18 or whatever.
There was
So
definitely
you can see a lot from
spots
there.
where you could get in there and get a general admission ticket and definitely get some good spots, but it seemed pretty clear you had to stay in that spot or stake it
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
And I was free to take in the shade and stuff in between everything, and at our age that counted for something, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, I've camped out at 11 before. I really like turn 11.
Yeah.
A lot of good action there. And then I've been in the T12 grandstands a couple times. And that's always a lot of fun, man. I mean, it's because you're just like right on top of those cars as they're coming into that braking zone, and they look pretty intense.
What are the future plans with Coda now that they've got Miami and Vegas. I mean, are they really going to be doing 3 US Grand Prix a year?
I think
Probably.
so.
There's so much.
Best I can
I
tell.
mean, you think about it. I mean, space wise and people wise, the U.S. and Europe are pretty equivalent. They do a bunch of races in Europe. Why not have a few here? I mean, the
Yeah,
difference
I
between
mean, since the Netflix show came out, obviously the fan base, grew a lot.
yeah.
Well,
Nice.
Hunter, from what you had texted me on Sunday, it was a pretty diverse crowd that you were with anyway, internationally, right?
I did, and I love that. So one of my favorite things is international travel, and
Mhm.
honestly, barely anybody was speaking English there, and I loved every second of it. And it
Nice.
wasn't, in Texas, obviously we have a lot of Spanish, a lot of Mexican residents, but you could hear the Spanish, but it wasn't Mexican Spanish necessarily. It was South
Mhm.
American or whatever. I heard French, a lot of Asian dialects. I mean, it was the international sport it is, which was kind of fun to be able to see in your own area.
Yeah, that's very cool. What other did you like any of the support races?
Yeah, so the immediate support race before it was the Porsche Carrera Cup, the 911
Hmm.
GT3s, which sound sick. Oh my God. You're
Hmm.
just watching them, praying for a chance where you can take a lap or two. Wide range, clearly, of driver ability.
Hmm.
They had pros, they had amateurs or semi-amateurs. I don't know the classifications there, but you saw a couple guys at the end just running their own track day after everybody else went by, and a lot of spin outs on stuff that didn't need spinning out on.
Hmm.
But it was some good racing, and it was kind of fun. I had a friend who this was his first time being a crew chief, for a car in that race, and so it was kind of fun because he's sending pictures from the pits and stuff like that. So getting to see those guys go by was pretty neat. Before that, the race was their F1 Academy, which I think is the ladies um, circuit, and then they
Okay.
had a pre 1966 cars, but that ran at like 8:30, and they only opened the gates I think like at 8:30, and I can't
Mhm.
imagine anybody was even in there to be able to see it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
nice,
I'm
man.
trying to remember when I was there. They ran like immediately before the F1 race. It was the historic Le Mans cars. It was like the Group
Mm.
C prototypes and stuff like that. It was super cool.
Yep.
A
And they
lot of
might
riding back there.
rotate them in and out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you're spending the whole day there, or especially like Saturday too, it's really cool just to see the all kinds of stuff that they bring with them. Like it's not just F1 or F3, or in this case
Well,
the what F1 Academy, the replacement for the W
yeah,
Series. Like they have all kinds of stuff.
Would have been Saturday would have been a blast to go to with the sprint racing and the
Mhm.
qualifications and all that stuff. I mean, it seemed like Saturday had a ton of action there too, which I didn't
Yeah,
partake in. But if I'd planned more than 3 days in advance to go, maybe I'd have been able to hit that too.
nice. So you gonna go? You thinking about other races now? Miami, Vegas,
Not really. I'm from Miami,
Hungaroring.
and no, I do want to go overseas. So 2025, I will be at Monaco. I've already got
Oh,
it
Nice.
penciled
Okay.
in. So if any of you know like a sheik or somebody that can like get me on their yacht, I'd appreciate that. So,
There we go.
I'm not watching from the Motel 6, in France with binoculars.
I'm sure our vast listenership have a few sheiks in their back pockets.
yeah, there's a
I'd
few yachts
imagine, why
floating around.
not? I mean, yeah, I need a super yacht though. I mean, like anything under 300, feet,
That's for
it's not gonna be
lambs.
good enough. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think
So
Paul Allen's the former Paul Allen yacht is still for sale, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
I
Hunter,
think
you
there's still
know.
some Russian oligarch yachts for
Probably.
sale too, but
Probably, but they're
Sure.
hidden.
yeah,
Like they're on the move.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and you don't want to get foreclosed on those.
no, it's the last thing you want.
No,
Um,
I mean, like everybody, I want to see Monaco just for the whole experience and thing. But the race itself, obviously, is usually not that exciting. But I guess in answer to your question, I do want to see one that's going through the streets instead of a track.
I got you. Okay.
I think that's got a different experience to it.
Here's a thought. So Monaco, will anyone disagree that Monaco is usually a pretty boring race?
Mhm.
Everyone's comfortable with that opinion?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monaco sucks. On TV. Here's what I would think. I bet you Monaco is really cool at the track. Because when you're at the track watching the
Yeah.
race, you can't keep up with it the same way you can when you're watching TV. It's just not possible. Even if you have the big screen right in front of you, you still just kind of have to sit back and just enjoy what's coming at you. And you can try to keep track of it, but it's just not the same. And I think that would lend itself really well to a track like Monaco.
I think it would too. The only thing that I would disagree with that on is the most exciting part was when we were seeing people passing. If you've got a
Oh,
race
yeah.
with no passing and you're not seeing any passing, I mean, yes, it's fun to cheer for Max go by first every time, but beyond that, when the crowd really lit up was, for some of the passing, and I think that's why it might not be quite as cool.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, but you could bet on you can I'm sure have a prop bet on what stupid thing Lance Stroll is going to do to blow up his car.
Yeah, get a little bit gambling in there to help with the entertainment. Yeah,
that's right. So it keeps
I
it
like
live.
it. Hunter, a couple more questions here. Did you dress like any certain kind of fanboy?
I did. I dressed like a Ferrari fanboy.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a particular driver or team. It's not like you get your hometown and stuff like that. At some point, I had to make a call, and I decided to go with Ferrari. I love Italy, love everything about it. So Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, that's my guy. I went with a Ferrari shirt.
You're a masochist.
Do you take responsibility for his DQ? Feel like it's on you a little bit?
I was actually in the pit shaving the bottom of the car down a little bit to try to help with aero. And I didn't know you couldn't do that. So my bad.
Just a few less strokes next time. It'll be good.
Yeah, fewer strokes. I like it.
No. Family pod.
Family pod. Yeah. That's right. I like it. Any other hot takes from the US Grand Prix?
Not from the US Grand Prix. My slightly less horsepower car than the Formula One cars. How was that transition?
I like that. No, that was good. That was good.
Is back and running. I've been down and out for 4 to 5 months with engine problems, and finally got a new engine in it. Took it out on a test day when it wasn't 150 degrees out. Car seems to be running well. So my next race is going to be the NASA race, ST6 December, I think, first weekend.
Okay.
Is the next one coming up. They're actually racing at Crescent this weekend. I couldn't do that one, but NASA's racing there, I think, this weekend.
So Eagles Canyon, December?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And you matched you were texting me, you matched your PB from before, so you're back on pace.
Yeah, it looks like I am. I still got plenty of time left to catch. I gotta find the rest of my wheels. I don't know what shop they're at. But yeah, I kind of fell right back into it, and the engine seems about the same beefiness that I had before. So I've got about 133 horsepower on the top end.
Okay, nice. And that PB that you met, that was your old 1.8 PB?
Yes, correct.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah. All right, very cool.
So is it? I assume this is a 1.8 also that went into it. Is it a totally fresh one, or is this another?
No, it's out of a wrecked car. It's not a rebuilt
junkyard
anything, but yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, and hopefully the belt stays on. I mean, freak accident. Yep. Happens to the best of us. A plague, a scourge, if you will.
I'm sure everyone on this pod has chucked a belt and roasted or nearly roasted a motor.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Roasted it good.
Yeah, roasted it good. Well, that's awesome, Hunter. I'm so glad to see you back on track. I'm excited that you're going to get back into a race this year. That's awesome that they race all. I mean, it's basically all year round in Texas.
My original plan was really to run this NASA series, the Texas region, the whole year. Obviously that got killed, so I think now I'm back on I'm going to do the ECR races and do the MSR Crescent races, which hopefully will be at least 3 of those, and that way I'm not really towing to go to anything. But speaking of towing, my understanding is the new Lemons schedule is out. Pat, is that right?
That is
Oh
right, and
man,
a very solid transition, sir.
Segway Ninja.
Professional broadcaster right there. Yes, the
It really
new,
kills the momentum when you talk about the Segway itself, guys.
but it was so
I know.
beautiful. It had to, you couldn't go without mentioning it. I mean, you're right, but the 24 schedule dropped yesterday afternoon. It's very exciting. We have 5 potential races on the TARP calendar, depending on participation levels and car readiness and availability. We on the prior pod we'd talked about that we'd probably do Road Atlanta this year. I don't think that's going to happen. I've had some work stuff come up that's going to keep me from having time to tow it there and back. So unfortunately, we're going to miss that race. I think the car would be ready. I'm just not going to be able to make it. So Miku 2, the rebuilding of Miku, whatever we're calling it, should debut at Barber the first weekend in February. So it'll be exciting. Track we've driven a lot. We know it pretty well.
Nate, that would be a good one to do.
I would love to. Barber is at the pretty much the top of my list for the limit schedule. Looking through it, it's like Barber, Sonoma would be a huge one. I love that track so much on iRacing.
Yep.
I'd love to get to do it in real life. And then Sebring would be cool too. That's way out there. We have a lot of bad memories. Go back and listen to episode like 106 or whatever it was. It was for all our disastrous Sebring stories, but I'd like to go give it a shot.
Yeah, so we've got Barber in February. It actually works, like the schedule kind of works out really better for us this year. We've never had a schedule that was spread out pretty evenly, like every 2 or 3 months. It's a lot of times it's been, we get 3 races in 4 months or something like that. And it's a real jam. And then, nothing from March to November or something like that. But then we've got Hallett at the same weekend as last year, the first weekend in May. So I'm sure we'll do that one. Sebring is 2 weeks after that, so I don't see that happening no matter what.
Mm-mm.
Like nobody's gonna be able to get that kind of time off. Even if we wanted to, maybe a third time's a charm. Maybe the third time we all die in Mobile Bay.
I'm out.
And then we have the summer where we kind of don't have really anything, but then we are going back to Road America this year, which we knew when we were there, a few weeks ago that we weren't going to be able to get that same weekend because SCCA is running the runoffs that same weekend in 24, but they ended up getting a date. I guess that's probably the first weekend in September 7th and 8th up at Road America. So I really hope, I'm planning on taking the car up. I really hope everyone else can come too. Because it is, like I said on the last pod, it was spectacular. It was everything I thought it would be as a track and an experience. I was pleasantly surprised that was the case, because it seems like a lot of times, what is it? Never meet your heroes, right? Like you go someplace, it's like, this isn't, kind of as cool as I thought it was going to be, but Road America really was. And then
if one were not driving there, what's the flight plan like to get there?
Milwaukee's like 75-minute drive. It's nothing. That's what I did when I flipped there for this race. Flew to Milwaukee, rented a car. Yeah, maybe an hour 15, maybe an hour 30 north. It was no big deal. And an easy drive. Like, I think on the way back from the track to Milwaukee, I was on a 4-lane state highway the whole way, and it was still a piece of cake. Like a state. It's weird, we don't have, all of our freeways down here are, for the most part, interstate highways or really big tollways. And, but up there, that state highway was big and free, and it was a freeway. So it was nice. So that's first weekend in September, and then we'll be back hopefully at Houston the first weekend in November next year, and then Road Atlanta the second weekend in December. So
there you go.
If we haven't done 5 races in a year in quite a while. I mean, certainly before COVID.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to. It'd be nice if we could make that happen this year.
So 5 races, 5 wins for Miku.
Man, I'd take just one. One would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But really, just even at this point, even one with most everybody able to show up and participate would be awesome. Even so, hopefully that's Barber for us, right? We all love that track. We know it well. We can get the wedding tent out of mothballs.
Yeah.
The killer is just February weather.
February.
Potential.
It's gonna be cold.
Cold is fine, but when it's we've had snow out there. I mean, we've had all kinds of. Or was that Champ that was snow?
That was Champ. We didn't have snow.
Yeah.
We didn't have snow, and it is usually chilly, but we haven't even really had too many bad rain events there. Not that many.
I mean, I had a bad rain event there, but yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did a pirouette like on track. Like I could have written off the car. Like it was bad. It was like a high speed 360.
Oh, like on that. Oh, where that like that river comes across the track after 10.
I don't know. You come out of the corkscrew, and then you have that like left right that you can take pretty fast. Like in the and I just fed the throttle on a little bit too quickly. Like it was just drying, And I was like, oh, I can feed in that throttle on this exit, and nope. And I did a full 360, like going fast, and I mean, it would have been very costly for me.
Was that in the BMW or was that in the
red car? No, I think it was in the red car. Yeah. Anyway, that's my rain fear of Barber, but sorry.
I think Nick spun it like there once too, in that same situation.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
But I mean, we've never had contact at that track. We lost an engine when we dropped a valve, but
no, I've had contact at that track. Remember,
newly disclosed.
No. Remember, I T-boned. This was very early days for the BMW. I T-boned that Accord of those guys from Louisiana. They had like a wood grain Accord, and it was going into the entry of the corkscrew. They took a wide entry, and I dive bombed everybody on the inside, and they're just like, boop. So
you punted them down the corkscrew?
You're lucky you didn't roll them over.
No kidding.
Anyway, we all survived, and we had a good laugh out of it.
I don't remember that at all. Are you sure you ever told us about that before?
I think that's when I tried to put subscribe and save on bumper corners, like corner lights. I seen that screenshot of me trying to subscribe and save to E36 corner lights, and it wouldn't let me. But anyway.
Maybe that should be your new YouTube channel.
Yeah. Subscribe and saving to MX5 transmissions.
Right. You're just going to need a few of these. Just go ahead and have them in shipping so you don't have to wait.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like Subaru Motors, right?
Yeah.
If you run an EJ 205 or 207, you just need to buy them by the 6-pack.
Yeah, just keep a couple spares just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Tomy short block. Yeah.
Yeah. As one does. So that's the Lemon schedule. That's
exciting.
It's very exciting. I got a picture popped up, and I don't know if I sent that to you guys. Picture popped up on my Facebook feed of 14 years ago today, and it was our first fall race at Houston. None of you guys were at, but Steve Nix was.
Nice.
And that was where we won. I say with air quotes, our first heroic fist.
Heroic fist.
Yeah, it was like heroic fist. Heroic fist. You got me saying it now. Fix award for swapping a motor overnight when Dad and I drove back to Dallas, retrieved a whole nother car from another team, and swapped it at the track. That was a real thing.
Nice.
And then the fuel pump went out on the Suburban on the tow home.
Wow.
Right, fortunately, right in. I got it back to Angleton, or not Angleton. Got it back to Pearland, to a Chevy dealer, and they did the fuel pump the next day. Yeah, that was fun.
So
that was a Stance Works level operation at that point when I first started doing lemons. Like, pull into that Chevy dealership on hopes and prayers, and like every penny had been spent for that first race. It felt like, I mean, not really, but it sure felt like
you
it.
expect the race car to break, but then when the tow rig breaks, Matt, you have some experience with that one. That's really the gut shot. That's the
feeling
real
very
gut
experienced tonight. Yeah, that's fine.
So Lemons is pulling some big tracks these days, like getting Sebring and Road America in the same year,
and Road Atlanta and
Road Atlanta.
I mean,
you're not that far behind.
Sebring a big track.
I'm just going off of IMSA, man. Like, we're not that far behind. The 2030 Lemon schedule is just going to go Daytona, Sebring, Long Beach, Detroit, like the Glen. Like, that's going to be the list here in a few years, man.
Yeah, no, that's true. And it's funny because as you sit around talking about these things with the other long timers, it's like, yeah, we're never going to the Glen, and people are like, why not? It's like, because it's Armco everywhere on that entire thing. We would owe so much money after a Lemons race at the Glen. But I think other than Daytona, maybe the rest of those could happen. Probably not Long Beach.
Could you imagine Lemons at Long Beach? Just picture it for a moment.
So
sharing a weekend with IndyCar and IMSA. We'll take the Friday. It's cool. I ain't even worried about it.
We'll let IndyCar be our support race. No problem.
Yeah.
Mulder, I'm curious. How many people do you have any idea how many people kind of pass through the Lemons experience a year, or Lemons adjacent? Like maybe how many registered drivers there are or anything? Do we know any of that?
Probably have to ask Rude.
I don't know, and Rude could give us a good number. I mean, so let's think about this. At Road America this year, we had 142 cars. If you say, 4 driver average, what's that put you at? Over 600, right?
568.
Yeah. And then we've got 20 races, and they're not all that big, or 24, 25 races, not all that big, but some are, some are that size, some are smaller. The California races are usually pretty good. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we've got to have at least 5,000 people.
I was let's assume at least half the people that show up are at multiple races. So 6,000 people, not unreasonable.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
more than IMSA.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was trying to Google, actually. Yeah, I was like,
they need to get on our level. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah. In some ways, they kind of are. Like if you watch some of the driving, but I'm sure most of them are professionals.
A lot of dentists and successful DUI attorneys out there in IMSA.
Yeah, but not next year with getting rid of P3 class.
Yeah, that's true. They're cutting a bunch of them out. There's still plenty of GT3 drives.
Yeah, the Save the Dentist campaign has not worked very well.
Well, I think the factory Corvette GT3s are going to pick up a lot of slack on that front, I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how big that field gets, right? For the GT3 with it. Yeah, I don't know how big they can get it. I mean, because the GTP class is really significantly growing with Porsche selling, customer cars now, and Wayne Taylor's got both of the Acura cars. Wayne Taylor Andretti, I guess. Lamborghini, I think, is going to have a car in next year.
They're going to have a prototype?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because at Le Mans for next year, Lamborghini, I think there's 3 more prototype cars that are coming next year, and I just have to remember what they are. Lamborghini, Isotta Franchitti. Not right. Franchitti. I can never remember. It's not Franchitti. That's Dario.
Dario. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing it by himself.
Yeah, that's right. And BMW is going to have their hypercar next year.
Okay.
BMW only ran GTP last year.
Yeah.
But they're doing both next year. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Which, means that for Le Mans, at least, I think they're not running P2. And it's just going to be the GT3s and the GTPs, which is interesting. Or maybe they will have P2. I can't remember. Maybe they are at Le Mans. That's it. The rest of the WEC is not running the P2s because they don't have grid size for it with all the GTP cars. And then to the point that they're going, the rumor is, and I think it's pretty well established at this point, that they're going to limit each manufacturer to only 2 GT3 cars on the grid. So like you're not going to have multiple 911 teams. You're not going to have multiple, AMGs. In fact, AMG may not even get a spot on the WEC grid because they don't have a hypercar. Like they're very clear that putting a hypercar on the grid is sort of how you guarantee that you're going to have a GT3. So like it's one of the reasons that it's pretty certain that Cadillac's going to continue over there because they want to make sure they can get, keep the Corvette GT3 on the grid.
Okay.
So it's one of the reasons. It's rumored that that's one of the reasons that Aston has revived its hypercar effort that went, quiet for a number of years because they want to make sure that they can keep putting their GT3 car on the grid. So
I guess that's pretty cool that they're using their different classes as like a feedback loop. I mean, to try to get participation. That's a real pro effort, I guess, by those factory teams. But Nathan, do you have something?
No, along with what you're saying, like that's the problem that those endurance racing has had for decades is getting the balance of prototypes to production cars. Like we went through, like at Le Mans specifically, you went through that stretch in the 90s where it was only prototypes. There just weren't GT cars, and they've had the opposite before that in the before that. And so that's a cool way to do it, to make sure that you have both and they're both decent.
Yeah, so everybody knew that ultimately the P2 and P3 cars were field fillers, right? Especially when you were, like when you were running P1 cars, and those were preposterous, so preposterous that like Porsche's like, yeah, we can't spend this kind of money on racing. That's crazy.
I know how you feel, Porsche. I totally understand.
And we got budgets.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, when Audi's like, I realize we've won like 12 Le Mans, but we're out. This is getting crazy.
So are all the P3 cars going to trickle down to like WRL now?
That's kind of what the rumor is. Like, where are they going to go? So they're going to run IMSA's going to run a prototype challenge.
Okay.
Series for the P3 cars, kind of separate, but on the same weekends.
They did that last year too, but was that, or they're just going to keep doing that or expand that program even a little?
I think that, yeah.
Okay.
Because last year what they did with that was they ran some of them where they were doing just the P3 cars and the, what's the Michelin Pilot Challenge or whatever
Pilot
it is.
Challenge, the GT4s.
Like they would run those two classes at different tracks separate from what everybody else was doing when they weren't going to have, like, when you're at Lime Rock, you don't get to run on Sunday, so you've got to really truncate the program, and they I think they had to do that at Long Beach, and because of the IndyCar weekend, there's only so much time on track available, and there was another one too, maybe Belle Isle, I don't remember.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, you guys feel like wrapping up this podcast? We've been at it for close to an hour now.
Sure.
Have we really? Wow. Time just flies.
I know. It's just the way it is. Hunter, we haven't heard from you in 10 minutes. You alive over there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not that into IMSA, so I figured
hear
I'd leave it to you guys.
No, I kind of fell asleep. No, I'm kidding.
Ouch.
Burn. I'm kidding. You guys are lovely. I feel like I gained something out of that. Sorry, I'm a dick. Okay. Hunter, do you have any shout outs? Any sponsors on your race car you'd like to shout out to? Or
I've got a new Racer HQ podcast on my windshield.
Nice.
I think it looked really good on the car. It only took me a year and a half to get, but there are 3 more of them on their way to your house right now, Matthew Murphy. So.
They are in my house, and I'll use one of them, and hopefully we can put one on another car sometime. But
a running car. would be good too. But
I'll make that the
whatever.
requirement. The car's got to be running. That'll be my check.
That's right. You have
And
to be
then-
able to start the car. Yeah.
You get
that's
it
how you
at
get
the
in the car
racetrack.
club.
Yeah, when you've signed up for the
Unfortunately,
track
that
day.
drastically lowers the amount of people you can give it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat, you and I
go
are
ahead.
both out.
Right.
Yep. Not for long.
No.
It reminds me. So there used to be this lowrider club in Oklahoma City called Lower Level, and they had this like LL, like guns ablazing kind of logo, right? And so all the mini trucks had this logo on the back, but a lot of them had the under constructed version. So it's like lower level, but you're not quite in the truck club yet because you don't have a paint job,
Nice.
So anyway,
Haven't gotten
Prospects.
jumped in fully.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah, you're not in the mini truck gang.
God.
Anyway, very cool. All right, well, yeah, I appreciate the shout out. Nathan, what you got going on?
Shout out to my wonderful wife.
Yeah,
Tonight is her birthday, so I'm gonna
I
go
was
hang
gonna
out with
say.
her
Happy
now.
birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Yeah, thank you so much for dedicating an hour of your time during your wife's birthday. That is dedication.
Not just his wife's birthday, but during the Paramount Network's 2-hour spectacular-ganza.
Yeah, we are
Usually
missing
people like
Survivor again. So thanks a lot, Matt. Your short is working.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Big money. Pat, I really apologize about the IMSA comments.
No, I'm just teasing.
Your words are they're golden. What else you got? You got any shout outs?
The dulcet tones that lure you to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my shout out is to the hopeful 2024 Lemons season to come, and that we can all get back together for some races.
Yeah.
Really look forward.
Yeah, I like this goal. 5 races. Let's do this, guys. Come on. And the listeners can't see this, but Pat Mowry has a very cool cartoon hacker background tonight.
I'm a little jealous of that. I gotta admit, he looks like the serious, real podcaster thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Discord default. All you have to do is flip.
If I didn't know better, I would assume
it's right
you
next to
were in
Blur.
your parents' basement.
Yeah.
If I didn't know better, I would assume you were in your parents' basement right now recording.
Yeah, you look like you're about to jack into the Matrix.
My parents' basement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
If I were in my parents' basement, the background would be like the washing machine and the 250 gallon fuel oil tank that they used to run the furnace when I was a kid. Anybody else have fuel oil? I know Hunter didn't because they didn't have heat in Miami. But did you guys have oil heat, or is it
we don't have basements in Oklahoma?
I was in a Zoom meeting with a cybersecurity consultant this week, and he was complaining about the cold, and apparently he uses fuel oil, and he was saying that the cost is astronomical these days. I was like, dude, you can buy a central heat and air unit every month.
Yeah, I bet it is expensive. The worst part of it for me, when I was a kid, I remember the first day the first 2 days maybe, when you turn on the heat for the season, because that's what you do, right? It doesn't you don't turn it on and off, at least not back in the day. The heat came on, but it wasn't until it started really getting cold out. But man, it just smelled ugh.
How does it work? Is it just burning gasoline?
It's fuel
whale oil.
Yeah, it is like whale oil. It's it's 3 or 4 sludgy grades worse than diesel. It's thick, nasty stuff. But that's why they use it, because it's what else are you going to use this for? We already took the good stuff for axle grease, and it's what's left over. It's I assume it's bunker oil on World War II battleships when they talk about firing those things up. Pretty much.
But that exhausts outside of your house. You don't have those fumes in your house. Yeah.
Yeah, but the burner isn't we're talking the late 70s here, Matt. So it's not there was environmental consciousness or sealed burners or anything like that.
Stuff made in the late 70s is stupid.
Yeah, it was.
I was made in the late 70s.
Yeah, same. I was just.
Am I stupid, Matt?
Being self-deprecating.
Well, you're environmentally sealed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. All right, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time tonight, and dear listeners, thank you so much for your time tonight. I hope you got something out of that. Please go check out our shop. We have t-shirts, merch. We have t-shirts and patches. I know because I bought a t-shirt and a patch tonight, so that I would look more on brand at the race next week, which I probably won't have my shipment by then, and it'll be the classic. I'll get my ball gown on the Monday after the ball kind of situation.
So not only did you lose $3 on this sale, like you do on every sale, but you lost the other 30 for the shirt too.
Yeah.
All right.
You're so
Dang,
good at business, Matt.
I would have loved the shirt for the F1 race, but I did not know about it in time.
Yeah. Racers HQ. There's a little shop link right at the top, right next to the
If
Get
you
Hype
order
playlist.
this week, you'll probably have one. I mean, maybe there's no guarantees, but probably have one for Monaco.
Yeah, you probably
25.
will. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like and subscribe and rate and review. And big thanks to all the wives out there for your time tonight. Good night, gentlemen.
Cheers.